17 years together, 3 children, a marriage I believed was unbreakable. Then I discovered an invitation tucked in my wife's vehicle. My name was missing from it. Her former boyfriend occupied the spot next to her parents, the chair that once belonged to me. As she posed happily in pictures, I gathered my belongings. I cleared out the shared funds. What greeted her upon returning home altered our entire reality. My name is Michael Harrison. Most people know me as Mike. I'm 43 years old. For the past 18 years, I've poured everything into creating something I considered worthwhile. 3 coffee shops spread throughout the city area, my signature on every lease. My hard effort poured into the groundwork. My earnings covering the bills, nothing flashy but straightforward labor, the sort that once allowed me peaceful rest. At least that's how it felt before. I wed Jennifer Collins 21 years back. She was 20 then, bright-eyed and brimming with ambitions. I was 22, naive enough to believe affection could overcome any obstacle. 12 months afterward came Madison, our daughter, now a sophomore at the State University majoring in biology, residing 3 hours distant. Mature enough these days to grasp that relationships rarely match their appearance in snapshots. Jennifer holds a position as sales director at MedTech Solutions. She earns well into 6 figures annually. She travels frequently for industry events. She networks smoothly with physicians and healthcare executives. Roughly 3 weeks earlier, she earned a promotion. Not publicly confirmed yet, but the reveal was imminent. Vice President of Sales, private office in the corner, leased vehicle from the firm. All the perks. I stumbled across the invitation purely by chance, Tuesday morning searching for my proof of insurance. We plan to include her vehicle on my coverage soon. Cut costs a little. That's how it ended up lodged beside the front passenger seat and the console divider. Thick cream stationery, clearly high-end. MedTech Solutions warmly invites you to join the festivities. Honoring Jennifer Harrison's advancement to Vice President of Sales. November 15th, starting at 7 p.m. location, the Metropolitan Club, followed by dinner and a cocktail hour afterward. Tucked inside lay the arrangement for seating, ordered alphabetically according to surnames. Jennifer Harrison, reserved spots at table 3, her mother and father named. Her sibling along with his spouse, me, absent entirely. No spot assigned anywhere. I lingered in the driveway holding that card for what felt like ages, observing how my fingers caused it to shake. Not rage, not in that moment. Simply an empty ache that arrives when you understand you've become mere background static inside your own household. Jennifer stepped outside roughly 20 minutes later, mug of coffee clutched in one hand, already scrolling her phone. She failed to spot me immediately. When her eyes met mine, her grin hesitated briefly. "Hey, honey," she greeted, her cheer sounding forced. "I figured you had already headed to the Riverside store." I raised the invitation silently, offering no explanation. Her expression shifted in layers, neither full remorse nor outright challenge, a strange mixture somewhere between. "Oh," she murmured. "So they went ahead with that." "With that," I echoed, "your major promotion gathering, the event where I'm evidently excluded." She placed her coffee on the car's hood, perhaps stalling for a clever response. I observed her test several looks before landing on a blend of regret and justification. "Mike, this isn't what it appears to be," she explained. "Then clarify exactly what it is," I replied. Because from where I stand, my spouse advanced to vice president, yet nobody thought to include me in witnessing her triumph. She folded her arms across her chest. That's her classic signal before delivering news she suspects I'll dislike. "My parents," she began. "They insisted on controlling the seating plan," she continued. "You understand my father's attitude toward business occasions? He obsesses over appearances." "Appearances," I echoed. "Your father prioritizes appearances to such an extent that the man married to his daughter for over 2 decades gets omitted from the invite list." "It's more layered than that, Mike," she responded. "Then simplify it for me." I met her gaze directly. "Who claimed the seat meant for me?" She averted her eyes toward the road. They felt Austin belonged there. The name struck me like ice water. Austin Parker, her boyfriend from university days, now a consultant in hospitality who quoted margins and revenue like holy text. I'd crossed paths with him twice. Each time he regarded me as though I were staff. "Austin," I confirmed, "your old flame, the same Austin currently advising my operation." He's assisting with reorganizing our supply chain approach, Jennifer explained. Her tone grew protective. He's genuinely useful to the group. That's fantastic, I remarked. Truly wonderful. Yet it still fails to justify why he claims a chair at your milestone evening while I remain invisible. She finally faced me squarely, her mouth set in a firm line. My parents have always favored him, all right? They consider him a better fit for their circle. They've preferred him from the start. You mean he fits their world better, I noted. The executive realm. Connections, managing coffee outlets doesn't register as prestigious to folks like them. Her sentence faded unfinished. The implied meaning lingered regardless. A chill deeper than fury spread inside me. So allow me to confirm my grasp, I stated, voice steady. Your parents choose your former partner over your current husband, and instead of rejecting that notion as absurd, you agreed silently. You never even mentioned it to me. I discovered it by pure chance. I intended to inform you, she claimed. Her conviction sounded weak. That evening I headed to the shop. The Riverside branch required attention, though honestly I craved tasks to occupy my mind. While steaming milk and approving orders, the image replayed endlessly. Austin listed at table 3. Near 2 o'clock, I dialed my accountant, Gerald Simmons. Gerald, 68, incredibly sharp. He's handled my finances since launching the initial location 15 years prior. Retrieve it all, I instructed him. Every movement in our shared account spanning the past 24 months. All combined holdings, checking, savings, portfolios, anything unusual. Silence hung briefly. Gerald understood. Expect the full report by Thursday, he assured. This remains confidential. Closing time arrived. Jennifer returned much later, claimed a late planning session. She greeted me with a kiss as though everything remained normal. Afterward, she mentioned casually, Austin rang earlier, wanted to double-check arrangements for Friday's function. Casual. I responded perhaps too flatly. Her voice stiffened. Mike, try not to act this way. Act which way? I inquired. Like someone who learned his spouse substituted him with an ex at her most significant career moment. You aren't being substituted, she insisted. You're overreacting. I pressed about when Austin began his advisory role. Possibly 6 or 7 months back, she answered. The timing escapes me precisely. That very period marked when Riverside began hemorrhaging clients. Steady business accounts drifted to a fresh spot downtown named Velocity Cafe. Slicker design, sharper rates. Eerily familiar with our internal pricing details, I had dismissed it as random luck. Now doubt crept in heavily. Thursday dawned. Gerald phoned as I unlocked the downtown branch. Mike, get over here immediately. No pleasantries, I sensed trouble. Inside his workspace, he arranged documents across the surface like courtroom exhibits. Account histories, payment logs. Photocopies of checks I had never endorsed. Explain what these show, I requested. 3 years prior, your combined savings held $240,000, Gerald began, then withdrawals commenced. 18 months earlier, $80,000 pulled out, noted as investment prospect. The signature resembles your own. I stared blankly. I never approved that. Clearly forged, Gerald confirmed. Followed by $69,000, then another $45,000. Close to $200,000 vanished. Funds wired repeatedly to one LLC, Parker Hospitality Ventures. Austin Parker, my inside sank. Additional details exist, Gerald continued. Access logs show your company records were viewed, after regular hours, supplier agreements, cost structures. Jennifer maintains admin rights in the bookkeeping system. Those accesses occur near 9 or 10 at night, while you rest. Beyond Gerald's glass, everyday folks carried on normally. Within those walls, my world crumbled. He passed one last sheet forward. Velocity Cafe's official filing, incorporated 8 months earlier. Undisclosed stakeholder, Parker Hospitality Ventures. Austin hadn't merely advised my wife. He channeled my capital into a rival venture, exploited my operational knowledge to steal my clientele, and Jennifer facilitated it. Legally speaking, preserve every record, Gerald advised. Safeguard your position, consult an attorney. On the personal front, choose whether to battle or depart. If departing, exit intelligently. I navigated home in a daze. The residence stood vacant. Jennifer likely lingered at the Metropolitan, toasting with leaders while I pictured Austin nearby. I entered the garage. 3 cartons labeled with college documents in Jennifer's script, aged correspondence, 1 greeting card from 22 years prior, gratitude for the escape to Silver Creek. I'll repay the favor next time, signed by Austin. The exact weekend she claimed charity work at a local refuge, the truth crystallized, deception had stretched back years. Carelessness had finally surfaced. Friday dawned early. I rose before she stirred, slipped into jeans and my faded Colorado State sweatshirt, watched her depart. Enjoy yourself, I offered. She beamed. Perhaps eased, as though braced for conflict, yet thankful it never materialized. I contacted Gerald. Shift my portion of every shared account into my company holdings, I directed. Revoke my access to all joint permissions. Cards, bills, complete the removals before close of day. My next call went to Patricia Hendress, my attorney. 56 and widely regarded as the top matrimonial lawyer locally. Patricia, I began. I require your services starting today. She summoned me over. 90 minutes and 3 binders later, strategy formed. Initiate separation filings come Monday. Keep silent about it. Strike swiftly, decisively, armed with proof. Concerning this evening, her counsel stayed brief. Avoid attendance. Refrain from drama. Deny her any leverage. I'd secured a storage space weeks prior under the business entity. That afternoon, I retrieved vital materials, backed up computer files, Gerald's summaries, my compiled chronology. I gathered necessities from inside the home. On the kitchen counter beside the brewer, I placed my wedding band. Then I departed. I skipped the Metropolitan Club entirely, checked into a long-stay lodging. Stark lighting, sterile quiet. Ordered a simple burger, tuned into a match I barely followed, and for the first time in ages, drifted into real sleep. The uncertainty that tormented me had ended. Saturday morning brought Jennifer's call. I allowed it to ring out. When I eventually picked up, she inquired about my location. I countered by asking about the celebration. How did everything go? I questioned, did Austin relish occupying my position beside your parents? Look, Mike, if you're fixated on table placements, it's far beyond table placements, I corrected. This concerns $200,000. Utter quietness followed. I have no idea what you mean, she stated at last. Actually, you do, I responded. Parker Hospitality Ventures, the limited liability company, the transfers. The falsified endorsements, fraud, identity theft, felony territory, her respiration altered noticeably. Speak with my attorney, she directed. I've already consulted mine, I answered. Madison received the information. She messaged me the previous evening. Dad, heading home tonight, things feel off. She sensed trouble. She'd conferred with her grandmother. The relatives had quietly shaped the storyline for months. Monday, you'll receive separation documents. Tuesday brings the formal police complaint. That's defamation, Jennifer protested. You cannot broadcast this. Defamation requires falsehood, I pointed out, and truth backed by records isn't defamation. 3 weeks passed before Patricia reached out. Mike, she began. Matters appear graver than anticipated. Wire fraud, identity theft, potentially organized crime elements. Prosecutors may pursue charges against her. Collaboration with Austin spanned months. He carried prior baggage, an Oregon case involving deceit, resolved privately. A recurring pattern Patricia observed, far from a one-time lapse. We submitted filings, we readied civil actions. Discovery proves invaluable when evidence favors your position. Austin's background emerged again. Velocity Cafe shuttered following sanitation department citations. Previous legal disputes resurfaced. Some assets retrieved via court-appointed overseer from foreign holdings. Austin declared bankruptcy, yet such filings rarely shield proceeds from wrongdoing. Patricia offered a slight smile. Facing criminal accusations often encourages cooperation during settlement talks. Jennifer phoned weeks afterward, voice subdued, shattered. The district attorney intends to prosecute, she revealed. Please, convince them to drop it. I never pushed for charges, I clarified. The DA chose independently. Evidence left no discretion once reviewed. She pleaded, expressed regret, admitted foolishness. I heard her out. Hatred felt unnecessary. It demands energy. My investment in caring had expired. Divorce concluded 8 weeks later. Jennifer accepted a plea agreement, probation term, obligation to repay. Austin received several years, probably released earlier for positive conduct. I retained the residence. kept the coffee businesses, secured a monetary award, not full recovery yet sufficient to restart. Madison returned for the holiday. We prepared the meal side by side. Only us basic comforts, roasted turkey. Dressing, creamy potatoes, cleaning up afterward. She inquired, "Are you holding up?" I answered, truly holding up. She embraced me, and after months of tension, calm finally arrived. 14 months beyond that moment in the driveway, I attended the launch of my fourth outlet. Larger, stronger. Precisely the vision I held before Austin attempted sabotage. Madison stood at the register for spring recess, sporting our branded shirt. Tom, once my reliable manager, now held partnership status. Reconstruction complete. A lady approached the counter that afternoon, around mid-30s, poised. "This spot feels incredible," she commented. "How many years running?" We discussed baked goods and potential collaborations. Her name, Sarah Mitchell. Later, I sent a message asking if she'd like dinner to explore possibilities. She agreed. Perhaps this time I'll follow through. Jennifer sent a congratulatory text following the event. I removed it unread. That's the method for progressing. Cease glancing backward. Now 44, unattached, expanding operations, possibly branching into fresh ventures. Different from the future I envisioned at our wedding 21 years earlier, yet superior. If this account resonates, please consider subscribing. It supports more than you realize.